Well, Hayden Sengua appeared in federal court today in a judge ruling he will remain in custody until his trial on child pornography charges. An investigator and forensic examiner from the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force provided information about material found on devices owned by Sengua. She said more than 15,000 images and videos of children were found on his Google accounts, cell phone, and external hard drive. Around 85 of these images were of girls in gymnastics clothing and were confirmed to have been taken at Just Gymnastics, where Sengua was employed. It was noted the gymnastics-related photos were not explicit or illegal in nature, and they were not of gymnastics competitions. The other images and videos not relating to gymnastics were described as violent and met the guidelines for the charges of child pornography. Sengua's attorney argued the images do not prove Sengua victimized a child in the area and should be placed on supervised release until trial. The ICAC examiner testified the material is associated with a high risk of other offenses. The judge said, quote, "Sheer quantity and violence overwhelmingly indicates you are looking for an opportunity," unquote, and ruled Sengua stay in federal custody.